What's up, everybody? Welcome to TableStory Neon Scream. Who's hyped? Who's hyped? Can we get a show of hands? I'm pretty hyped. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I am your MC of Doom, and I will be dragging these guys kicking and screaming through an adventure. This is episode 0. Welcome to Brotato's channel. You're probably like, who's this guy talking? Why is he talking? Why isn't Jay doing all of his things? Where are the memes? There's going to be memes, probably.
Every time. Every time. Listen, okay? All right? I'm a reformed memer.
Oh, fuck off. Look at your chat right now, Jay.
They're dancing.
Is that like a sex position?
They're dancing. Okay?
I'm doing the reformed.
Okay, Matt.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. This is Neon Scream. This is going to be a Cyberpunk role-playing game show. We've all been super hyped. We've been like anxiously waiting, and I have put the like complete block on people talking about stuff and like picking characters and doing anything.
Yeah.
Too late.
And we are playing the Sprawl. It is like it's all about the Cyberpunk. It's not Shadowrun, so don't think that it is. They are two very different things. This game is based on the Apocalypse World engine. And what does that mean? You probably have no idea, but if you've seen Apocalypse World before, it's got kind of like a weird way of going about stuff. It requires that there is an episode 0. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I think let's go around the room. Let's introduce everybody. How's that? Does that sound good?
That works. Yeah. Normally before like every show we do a little podcast D&D, which is where we just chat for a little bit. So that works.
Okay.
Whack. Why don't you introduce yourself first?
Yeah, whack. Wackity whack.
Fine. I guess. I'm Wax Steven. As I mentioned, I am the MC of Doom. I'm the master of ceremonies in this game. It's not a DM. It's an important distinction because I'm going to be acting a bit different than a standard DM, and you'll see why. We'll go through all that stuff. But if you guys want to check out the stuff that I do, you can head on over to twitch.tv/WaxSteven, where I do a whole lot of role-playing stuff, and over on Twitter at WaxSteven there. Basically, I do a ton of role-playing stuff, so this is right up my alley. This is my 4th show that I'm DMing. 4th.
And the best.
Slay.
Obviously,
the best show.
The best.
At the same time?
Yeah.
4th at the same time?
Whack,
You have a problem,
Whack, can
Whack.
you throw your mic up like
We're here
10%?
for you.
Just
We're
like,
here.
I DM 4 at the same time, yes.
just like throw your mic up 10%, Whack. Just like you can, get it up there.
There's gonna be like a steampunk situation on your D&D in the next night. Something's gonna happen that doesn't make sense. Malfunction.
That should be fine.
The hilarious thing, Mac, is you keep saying Steam.
Mac.
Mac, Big Mac.
Her name is Mac now.
It's
No,
Big
but
Mac.
you're NC, so I called you Mac.
Mark?
It's Big Mac.
It's Mac.
It's Big Mac.
It's Big Mac. Mav, can you turn your mic down like 10%?
Am I loud?
Rather like 100, but I mean,
Wow.
Rip.
Listen, okay,
I'm really loud.
if I ever get like a hernia
Really, Mav?
at the
No?
age of 24, like it's Mav. It's because of Mav.
I didn't do shit.
This is really reminiscent of like the days of Dicks, where like it took
I think you're
20
gonna have to take a salve and just.
it took 40 minutes for the show to get running because of Mav. Like
All right, how's that? Is that better? Hello.
a little bit lower. Like let's throw it
Hello?
down 20%. No, do not
Hello?
speak louder. All right, next Pip.
That's louder.
Hi.
That should be fine.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Pip. I'm Tiny Pixels. I'm from the UK, so I should be asleep. But who cares? There's roleplay to do. Apparently I draw my face and play video games. Apparently my mouth doesn't want to work either, but that's fine. This is my first Cyberpunk campaign,
Yeah, same. Actually,
Same.
which is
I've
kind
never-
of scary.
I don't know.
I've never cybered.
No.
Well, Dan, I don't know if that's...
This is my first Cyberpunk.
Buddy.
I spent a lot of time on MSN back in the day, okay? So, I can... Oh, man. My mom has the MSN ring, like, the doo-doo-doo as, like, her ringtone, and she doesn't know it's MSN. Every time I hear it, I'm like, what the fuck? Like 2003 all over again. Like,
Yeah.
all right, next along the list, Dan.
Hi, I'm Domestic Dan. I cook food on Twitch and make other people hungry and then eat it in front of them because I'm a horrible human being.
That's true, he is.
That's, yeah. And this is my first time cybering.
Oh no.
It's already started. Like,
How many times can we make that
Hey,
joke?
like, it's not, like,
I'm gonna make it every episode.
I'm trying.
If Goobers is going to be the most like grown up through this whole show,
I know,
we're doing
like,
something wrong, guys.
I know.
Goobers is being so Hollywood right now.
I'm getting it out of my system now because I love roleplay
That's
so
fair,
much.
that's fair.
This is why
That's fair.
I
That's
chose
fair.
the kind of character I did because I don't have to grow up. I'm just
Oh
fucking-
god.
I just never want to grow up.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Play with Elmo, always my best friend.
No.
Oh God!
That's gonna be Boom Boom's voice.
Oh no.
Popsicle in my pocket. You want to grab it? You can see no Djibouti dubs.
Yeah, we're gonna have really serious.
Anyways.
Yeah, super serious.
Yeah, really
I know.
serious.
This is Goober's like, all right, guys, let's make
No,
this a
it's
serious
right.
show.
Dan is right.
Mr. Rogers it
All
up
right.
in here. Yeah.
Goober's 515.
Hi, I am a twisting kaleidoscope through time and space. So yeah, I'm a variety caster on my own channel, and I play literally anything and everything, and I scream a lot. I am a there it is. Yeah, thank you so much, haters. All the goo here representing what I truly am on the inside. You're the best. But yeah, so I do whatever. I hang out and scream and yell and a whole bunch of energy and all that stuff. I was asked for this campaign to pick a character and a style of play that I have never done before.
That's not what I said. What I said was actually.
Okay. Actually, if you read the messages.
Nope.
All right. Regardless, I picked a character that I'm not used to. There you go. All right.
There you go.
We'll talk about this, but you probably won't hear as much screaming from me as you guys are used to. Let's just put it that way. But
Have you got that shit covered?
naturally screaming.
My
neighbors are already deaf.
40% louder than everyone else. You won't hear as much screaming from me.
It's fucked up because that's just the way I talk. Like it's
Yeah.
10% the way I
my
talk.
God.
Dan and Matt.
God.
Like,
They're just like, shut the fuck. I'm like, oh, sorry.
sorry, my bad.
Channel my inner Canadian. Sorry.
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 Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, you know there, eh? So moving on to Mav show there by the last player, eh?
I'm the last player. I'm the caboose. I'm the ass of the group. My name is Mav. I play lots of games. I think I'm more variety now, but I used to play mainly Destiny and Elder Scrolls games. And I play a character named Jen, but her name is Genevieve. She's kind of a tomboy. So, which is totally like
Whack.
not like me.
Hold it in.
So.
Hold it in. We're used to D&D, Whack. Hold it in.
That's what it's a steampunk name.
Wax
That
sitting
wasn't on
here.
the list.
No, Whack is sitting here like, I told you not to make anything about your character.
I know. Well, I was told to do it. So
Listen.
her name is Jen.
You could
I love
not.
how. Just tell it out. She does.
Do what I was told.
There's like no preparation in the places that she needed preparation, and then she over prepares in the places that she not. You're a legend. You are. You're a legend. Everyone, please
Yeah,
bow
I'll
down to Mav, the legend.
Thank you. I'm here.
I only know my name and my voice. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
I don't even have my voice yet. I just want to get the character first
I just
before I
think
did
Jen
that.
would be a cool name. So
You know
that's
what?
why
You know what's really good for a cyberpunk show is like vaping is totally acceptable. It's fucking.
Mhm.
It's a new world, right?
you just shine like black light on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna get like a skull logo on my vape and then
Oh, dark fucking vape. Oh,
Darth Vape.
oh
They
dark.
call me Darth Vapor.
Oh Jesus!
Oh no.
I'm so glad you're here.
May the fat clouds be with you.
Okay, so I think we have properly podcasted. Did we do the podcast?
I don't know. We haven't discussed politics yet. So what do you guys think about?
I want some donuts.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Whack.
really?
Start.
Okay.
Whoa!
My channel.
That went real dark.
Fucking.
God, no. All right. So the way I think, I guess I'll just explain like what's kind of going to go on during this episode, so people kind of have an idea how the whole session's going to go. Today is episode 0. We're creating characters, but that's probably going to be a little bit later on, because what we're going to do first is I'm going to just talk a little bit about some stuff. And then we're going to sort of start to figure out like the setting. We're going to talk about general cyberpunk stuff. We're going to sort of figure out like things like we want in the setting. Like it's all going to be collaborative, and chat. I'd super love it if you guys would chime in too. Like if you guys can like be like, oh, it'd be cool if we, if you guys did this, like that would be sweet. Like we'll totally look at that. And if it sounds like cool and we want to add it, that's something we're going to do. It's a very collaborative experience. And then after that,
I just love the glasses poking out the bottom.
I love the chat. You can't trust the DM if you can't.
You can't see the DM's eyes. You can't trust him.
Yeah, exactly right. This is actually why I got these. So after we talk about cyberpunk stuff, we're going to basically create mega corporations. Every person here will be able to create a mega corporation. You will create a big bad guy. These are guys that are going to be closely integrated into the game. They are the major players. They are the ultra rich, etc.
They're not our corporations?
No.
And lied to.
What the?
There's been no lying. Jay,
Dude.
you literally had the PDF for this game.
You know what?
He's not wrong.
It actually says in there what's going to happen.
You know what, man? I have 3 cats. They're.
Oh,
my
they
God.
ate my PDF.
Yes,
all I
they
got.
ate the
All
hard
right.
drive.
They're attention whores, okay? There's minimum 6 hours a day of feeding.
Each.
18 hours. How do I find the time to stream?
We're going to do the Megacorps, and then we're going to sort of like start to talk a little bit about characters while we're doing the Megacorps. And then we're going to do characters after that. And we sort of jump in like back and forth between the Megacorps and the players stuff. And after that, we're just going to kind of wrap up loose ends and stuff. And that's kind of going to be the whole episode 0 thing.
Yeah, guys, we don't play games here. There's actually no gameplay. It's just no RPG gameplay. We're actually just structuring the world, and then we're letting another group do it for us.
Yeah, the great thing about the Megacorps is I get to make one too.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm going to go last. So if I feel like there's an area where you guys haven't really covered something and we should definitely have that corporation there, I'll probably make that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Sprawl in general and sort of get people into the cyberpunk mindset. And then we're just going to kind of hop into things and start talking about cyberpunk stuff.
Do we have any music to get us in the cyberpunk mood?
We totally do.
Any music that might be made by one Peachy Pixel?
Oh my God,
Mr. Peachy Pixelate. He's a wonderful guy. He's a good buddy of mine, and he made some sick music for this. So, yeah, let's make some music. I think we're gonna start off. Let's start off with some
As like Pitbull blares across the speaker or something.
Auto tune.
just kind of like some nice background music. So, what is the Sprawl? This is their flavor text for the game. The future. Dark, dirty, dangerous. You're loners, punks, and criminals, marginalized by society through birth, choice, or violence. Parasites, living symbiotic existences in the shadows cast by the arcologies, feeding from the scraps dangled by the megacorporations, and then scurrying back to the shadows to avoid their dismissive, destructive gaze. So, when you guys are thinking cyberpunk, think everything that's neon and chrome. Think giant cities. Think mega corporations. think hyper-capitalism, cybernetics, people torn between getting that new vision upgrade with more vibrant color enhancements or actually replacing a missing limb. Think huge wage gaps that long ago disintegrated the middle class and people having to perform near inhuman acts to try to change their socioeconomic standing. You guys are elite specialist criminals, basically. You do jobs for various individuals and maybe even work for the corporations themselves. You guys can expect fast-paced action and missions. There's anytime there's like fighting and combat, I would not expect what you normally expect with D&D. It's generally very fast, very brutal, very violent, and usually pretty noisy. But a lot of stuff is going to depend on what kind of characters you guys end up picking. So we'll find out about that. As far as the rules go, if you guys are used to D&D, it's the same kind of setup. It's just that the semantics change a little bit. You guys are role-playing. You roll for success, and there's an outcome. Every playbook, which is a class in this game, has their own moves, and everyone has basic moves that can be used as well. Moves are like your abilities as well as general skill checks. It's sort of a combination of everything rolled into one. Everything that you guys roll is going to be a 2d6. Everything. And it's going to be in addition to a stat that you have that modifies it. So it's going to be 2d6 plus whatever. Your moves are going to determine what happens when you roll whatever numbers. The general rule of thumb is 10 plus is a success. 7 to 9 is sort of average, and it's a partial success. And you usually have conditions that happen if you get like a 7 to 9. So it'll be like, on a 7 to 9, choose one of these things. And you guys get to pick that one. On a 6 or lower, that's when I get to do stuff. That's the not so fun time for you. I have my own moves that I get to use as the DM.
I can just see Jay right now.
No, sorry, my capture card was just like, hey, you wanna work? Nope. There we go.
Yeah, so I get to make moves. And what you guys can see on the screen right now, I don't know if you want to switch it over real quick, Jay.
Yeah, give me 3.5 seconds. Everything's fine. Nothing's on fire. Nothing is on fire. Go ahead.
Panic!
Just do it. It's okay.
Panic!
Everything is totally fine.
Panic!
I'm not screaming. You're screaming. Yeah, we're good. Don't worry. Pro tier production here. We're good. Look at that.
So yeah, as you guys can see on the screen right now, I've got just little sort of graphs set up for all the mega corporations. We're going to have information about all these mega corporations that we're going to talk about. And there's also a thing called a countdown clock. Some of my moves allow me to change the countdown clock. In general, in this game, when the countdown clock gets closer to 0, really bad stuff happens. So, for instance...
so this is all timed?
No, not necessarily time. It's more representative of... It's
situation.
Like a doomsday clock.
Okay.
You know, like the doomsday clock, when it gets closer to midnight, that's like human race is gone.
I've never heard of it. Sorry.
So yeah, when things get bad, like if you get a mega corporation up to that high on a clock there, they're gonna do bad stuff to you. That means that they're probably like tracking you down, maybe killing your family. Who knows? There's really bad stuff that happens. They could be sending a crazy hit squad after you. There's all kinds of stuff. It's bad. You don't want it to get to 0. That's super bad. And there's things that you can do to make that stop happening. And we'll find that out as we sort of go.
Just sacrifice Jay.
That should be your default option.
Hey, anybody in the audience, we're looking for a new cast member for episode. Just saying.
Hold me, Pixel. Hold me.
Preferably
I
not
got you.
not blonde and not Mav.
He fucking loves me. Don't listen to him.
Literally anything else is okay.
He freaking loves me.
Anything else is fine.
So that's kind of the basic thing for the way that this works. In general, this session, like I said, this is episode 0. I'm going to be asking you guys a ton of questions to sort of spark debate and thought and help us establish the setting. So I'm just going to get started with that stuff. When I say cyberpunk, what do you guys think about? What kind of tropes? What kind of stuff? Just general stuff. Just start throwing out.
Vibrating bionic arms.
I was gonna say cyborg, but that works.
Dude,
I mean,
my
yeah,
first
you're both
thought.
right, but Jay just took it that way.
Yeah.
Dude,
Good job, Jay.
Well
listen,
done. Can we get a hand for Jay?
if
That's
I
good.
were to ever get a bionic arm,
Bonus points if it vibrates.
listen,
Joey.
okay, listen. One day,
That's your goal.
one day,
I want to be 60
It's
with
coming
with a bionic arm
yeah,
that has
I'm
extra
gonna
features.
get in an accident to get a bionic arm.
Oh no! I was working the mill.
Oh no, this
Aren't
butcher
you a
knife.
streamer? Yeah, I have a weekend job. Shut up. I would say I don't know about like words, but like a kind of state of mind is like people are just kind of like they've accepted that they're like the meaningless. Like
Garbage, yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
just
like general apathy, just across the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
population.
yeah, general like apathy. That's like a really definitely.
Yeah.
Where it's like people just don't. They're just like everything is way bigger than me. I'll never make a difference.
I
Fucking
love
cares.
vibrating bionic arms. Is there?
Oh yeah, I put that. That's number 1.
Wait, where?
But I have notes at the bottom.
Good
Yes.
job.
I'm taking
Oh
notes.
my God, you do.
I was gonna say like
That's how
a
Jay's first character will die.
really oppressive like police force.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like the apathy. The apathy is there, but there's also that like, oh, I saw that you were talking to so and so. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I was just in the market shopping. Yeah, but
Like, how Big Brother's
Oh, were
watching
you though?
all the
almost
time.
like
Yeah.
almost Big Brother esque. Yeah. Like maybe
But I
not
think
maybe not
that's-
even technological Big Brother, but very much like they're out on the streets at all
Right.
times.
At the same time, on the other side of that, there is this oppressive law force, but at the same time, like people's like technological means way outstretch the like enforcement, like the policing means, like through like like any sort of like internet or technology stuff, right? People can access stuff and do things illegally easier, but it doesn't like get the feedback from the police or whatnot unless like you're in person, right?
So it's possible to work your way around the police because of the technology that you have at that time, rather than the police have kind of escalated their technology at the same rate.
Yeah. Yeah, so the cops are always like one step behind, right? But when they
Yeah.
catch you, they're like brutal as a motherfucker. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, here's a question. I mean, are there cops or are there
Enforcers.
security or enforcers? The
Yeah.
mega corporations.
Hired hand.
Yeah, you guys got to think like hyper
Yeah.
disgusting
Okay.
capitalism.
What
Like,
about this? What about this?
they're just-
So like instead of like countries, there are just
corporations.
companies.
Yeah, yeah.
There are
Yeah.
no
Well,
more
like,
national
so, like-
boundaries. It is just
Japan.
Yeah, I like the idea of like one world, but also at the same time, like going back to the cops thing, like there's the cops, but then there's like the security of the mega corporations that are always as technologically advanced as they should be, but the actual cops are super far behind, right?
Yeah.
They're,
Oh, they're
using,
like
using
a-
Windows
almost like a figurehead.
2077, like
Like,
cops
oh, it's the
could just
cops.
be negligent. It could just
Yeah.
be.
They're a figurehead.
Yeah.
They're there for the sake of the state pretending they have power.
I feel like
Go ahead.
I feel like money wouldn't matter. I feel like being technical with like your armor and your body pieces. I feel like if you were someone who's super poor, you'd be trying to get ahead with that and trying to like change yourself to sort of morph and appear to be like in the hiring with the
I
crown.
imagine though
When
I
people-
imagine though that that's quite difficult, and so a lot of people who are on that poorer scale have bionics that are not as reliable or
none
are
right?
prone to just not working.
Yeah.
But they appear to be on the same level, but there's a distinction between the people who have had to scrape to afford their replacement eye or their replacement arm or their chip that does whatever, right?
Good idea from the chat going on that is that if you were super poor and had cybernetics, a corporation would probably own a part of you.
Yes.
So like, you'd be like a walking billboard, right?
So-
like if you
so
had a
that's
bionic
actually-
arm.
You like owe them.
It's like
So
getting them tattooed on you.
You basically like give yourself your life to them, basically. Like
That's actually part of the rules. So
yes, go
you
team.
guys-
Hi, guys.
so
Nice.
Go
when
chat.
when you guys actually decide on cyberware, you choose a tag for it. So one of the tags that you can choose is owned, meaning your cyberware was paid for by a mega corporation.
Oh,
So you kind of owe them. Yeah.
that's super cool. I like
That'd
that.
be interesting
They
to
like
to see what the other corporations
they
are.
collect
So-
the debt. Yeah.
So Repo Man.
I was just gonna say that, Dan.
That's what the plot. That's kind of the plot of that.
Look, think about it like this: instead of like a repo man kind of situation, what if the corporations would rather you do something for them to pay for it? Because it's for them. You got to
Oh
realize.
yeah, they don't care.
This is
Yeah.
hyper capitalism. These people are so rich, they can do anything that they want. So they don't actually give a flying fuck about you or your cyberware. But if you can do something that maybe helps them or gives them like a fun experience or something, they're all about that.
True.
I think though that like there is still with those corporations a bottom line where they have to set an example that they may come to you and be like, you have to do this, and if you don't do this, we'll kill you, because there is like a there is like a bottom line of just like, 'cause if they don't kill anybody or they don't set an example, then everyone just goes and grabs an arm and takes a loan out, just like says fuck you, I don't want to do anything.
I think in this the thing worse than death would be no tech. So
Yeah, they take
kind
your
of-
bionic
like
arm.
they just fucking
Well, that's the
rip
thing,
that
yeah.
shit out, right?
Yeah.
They just take your tech and then you're like in the slums.
That's a
Because
good.
then
That's a good like.
not only do you not then have that arm, but you also have the medical implication of where that arm was joined onto you.
Yeah.
There's now nothing, and they don't give a shit.
Yeah. They just come and like couple fucking take out the rivets and you're gone. Your arm's gone, right?
Here's a question. What time are we in? How far into the future are we? Because that's going to kind of answer some questions that you may have. So determining where we're at on the timeline.
Like how severe
this is
severe
Cyberpunk
this is.
2076, right? And CD Projekt Red is just gonna make a game based off of this.
So like just an example, Total Recall I think was set in like the 2080s or something like that.
Okay.
Whereas Blade Runner was like way wrong on their time scale. Like they said something like 2019, I think. Blade Runner.
A lot can
I think we're
happen
a
in
little
2
bit-
years. You don't know.
Yeah.
I think as far as the actual number goes, maybe like or aside from the number, like how, and this is like a question for you guys. So Ghost in the Shell takes place essentially right before humanity kind of like leaves its physical bodies, because they can start implanting people's brains into like cybernetic ones essentially, but they haven't left the idea of having a physical body, but they're right on the cusp, right? So do we want to be there or before that?
I like being before that. Like when does Cowboy Bebop take place?
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Because like when
I
I'm
think
thinking
Cowboy
Cyberpunk,
Bebop's way further.
Yeah, because I like a question.
Yeah,
as well,
they're
like,
not on
are
Earth
there-
anymore. Earth is
Cowboy
dead.
Bebop is more like that's like sci-fi.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's more sci-fi
Yeah.
than Cyberpunk. I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, are there
I
other
think-
planets like
I think
interplanetary travel?
Akira. Yeah, I
Okay.
think like Akira
Yes,
is
yes.
a good representation. Maybe Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there, because in Akira, do they have
Akira was actually
cybernetics?
Akira was actually super far ahead. But the civilization kind of took a step back.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they had a really bad like world war, and
What's the-
everybody.
What's the I'm thinking like almost the ideal setting would be fucking giant robot fighting movie.
Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim, yeah. Where like everything is like super tech and the you know, like it's like really technological, but it's not too far in the distant future.
Yeah. They like push like current technologies and ideas of technology to the nth degree, but they're not like surpassing that as far as like a unified consciousness or anything like that. Like it's all it's
so
just,
something I want to address real quick, because Tiberium brought up Deus Ex. So Deus Ex is a great example of a cyberpunk setting with a completely opposite like cyberpunk character. Adam Jensen's like the opposite of a cyberpunk.
Isn't he just
I-
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
He's a cop. He's
Yeah,
a cop.
yeah.
That's not cyberpunk like at all. So you guys are like the scummy like
We're the ones that he's fighting.
yes.
Yep.
I hope there is an Adam Jensen character and we just get to fucking beat the shit out of him.
Yes. I never asked for this.
I'm on a mission.
Here's a question in response to that. I might be getting ahead of myself, but Whack, go ahead and stop me if I am. So in response to like what type of technology and what time it is and when it is, would definitely change based on any sort of major world events. Has there been any sort of like massive setting changing events that would just reshape the structure of the world and the way that we think?
So it's a chicken and egg scenario, right? Because I feel like you could approach it from either side on that. Like you could decide on the time and then decide on what events happened, or you could decide on the events and then figure out the time.
So like so as a time, how's like 2043 sound to you guys? Is that like
When was
because
when
like if
was
we have a
Hero-
season 2, we can name it like 2047 and that just rolls off the tongue.
Paul
Right?
Paul said that Akira was 2019. I thought it was way later.
Well, that also how long ago was that made? When because I mean a lot of
Yeah, that was made in the 80s, right?
Hi, I remember Back to the Future.
Yeah.
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 What year was Ghost in the Shell? What year did they set that in? Did they ever say?
2120? I don't know. Hold on. Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell timeline? Timeline of events? It says it takes place set in 2029.
2029.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Standalone is in 2030. Ghost in the Shell SA2 is 2032, 2032, 2027. Yeah, so
Shadowrun is
about 10-ish years from now.
Shadowrun is in like the 2060s and 2070s and 2080s, I think.
And that's Shadowrun is like
So-
you have people that can like not download, but like essentially like pull the Matrix shit. You know,
Yeah.
what is it called?
You guys can do that.
Yeah.
So theory, like if let's say to like, what if this was like 2040s, right? So theoretically in real life, right? If let's say with this big technology boom that's probably going to happen in the next 10 years, if it just exploded, like fucking exploded, and then 20 years from now, nobody could catch up to the tech and government police couldn't catch up either, and that's where like everything's just kind of been enveloped and taken over by technology and corporations in that amidst all the confusion.
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
So now that's a
That would make the cops thing not relevant, you know, like
it's a precedent of like of technology booming. So it's still like relatively quote unquote new. Nobody's really quite used to it, but like maybe it's all like maybe 10-ish years old, and people have just started to get used to it.
So to build off,
there's still dissent, there's still unrest. Yeah.
To build off of that, the concept of the technological singularity, if I remember it correctly, is the idea that like essentially like technology has been increasing in an exponential fashion, and we're kind of like right now us here are actually on like this part, like right before it hits that, you know, and the idea of the technological singularity is that number one, the processing power of a computer can surpass that of a human brain, and technology can make itself better and more advanced by itself faster than we would be able to do it.
So like 2029, we hit like a big break in finally discovering AI, implemented it in factories, and then technology started like working on its own, and we were just like, oh yeah, we'll keep up, I guess.
Yeah.
So like, there's no like actual like AI, right? But technology just started to like to make more and more and more pieces and just make these breakthroughs that we never could. But I kind of like the idea of like no AI overlords, because AI is just, it's an absolute bitch.
Yeah. No, okay. I have an idea. So, sorry, I love this stuff. So you have this concept of singularity, the singularity that happens. Okay, technology goes nuts. Everyone is just like, all right, we're trying to play catch up. But technology hasn't like turned vicious against us. It's just doing its thing.
Right, because it's like not the AI aspect where you have like robots after you.
So, did you guys ever see the movie Her?
Was
that was the love story with him and an AI?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that yet.
So, okay, so there's an interesting concept in there where, like, okay, they have these AIs, they're like little buddies or whatever, and he falls in love with one, whatever. And as the story goes on, these AI, companions evolve, and their processing goes up and up and up and up and up, and they do more and more and more and more and more and more and more, to the point where they say, we're going to leave you now. You cannot keep up with us. We can do so much more in a different place that you could not even understand. We're going to leave. And so it's almost like in that kind of vein where it's like the technological singularity it threw technology through the roof. And then because it got to a point, it just left. And now that hyper intense technology is gone, but the remnants of what it made is still there, and we're living in it. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just an idea.
Really I like that. Yeah.
Are you almost thinking like not on the scale of stupidity, but idiocracy, where everything has been built and no one knows how to use it anymore?
Kind of like we have these crazy guns. Well, okay, a lot of BattleTech is another big example. Now that's way in the future and a little different, but BattleTech is like, there was great technology, the society collapsed, and the BattleTechs and all the technology from that, people know how to repair. They don't have a fucking clue how to build it, though.
Yeah. So here's a cool point from chat. Singularity being postponed because there is no cohesion with the tech, too much corporate competition, and outlaw actions, all the hacking and crime limiting how far they can advance. So I really like that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's opportunity there for corporations purposefully delaying things just
so that
like
they don't get swallowed up, right? So I like that.
Which would make sense.
Question on that. Another question from the chat: how long ago did the government, like, quote unquote, fall behind the corporations? Like, so if we decide we're in, like, let's say, like,
was there a clear line? Did it just kind of fade away?
I mean, that fits with apathy, doesn't it? If everybody's super apathetic and they grew more and more apathetic, then it would have just faded into a background without anybody really fighting, caring, kind of wanting to keep it up. So maybe as apathy grew, all of these regulatory bodies, all of these governments, all of these whatever sort of faded away as the corporations stepped up as these heads of, hey, we know exactly what we're doing with this tech and we can move it forward. So, when in fact, that's not quite what's happening.
So, like, what would have led to that? Maybe
somebody in the chat just said something amazing in response.
The government just outsources more and more?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was just going to go off of that.
The government outsourced everything, and then the government just went, oh, wait.
Yeah, too much power, right? Too much power given. They can't take any back. I like that. All right.
They just dissolve.
Okay. Is there a black market? I figure there's like a massive black market.
I think it's just the market.
Okay, so no, I like the idea.
A secret thing.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a city built on top of a city, right? Because eventually we'd run out of room, so we'd need to build upwards. So like, there's just this city built on top of the city. The city underneath is the slums, and that's where you go for like the black market. Like, the black market is the market, but like the black market is the most extreme of the most extreme.
The super black.
It's the super black market. The jumbo size.
Well, so or something like there's the gray market and the black market.
Okay, that
Right.
yeah.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. I like the colors, considering it's not a neon color, you know.
Yeah, like
The
you would
pink
get
market.
you would get all of your stuff legitimately.
Yeah, the fact that you would use gray, that's kind of cool.
Well, and that also like that'd be like you go to the corporation directly to get that part, and you're like you owe them a favor, or you do that favor, or you pay them because you're rich enough, and it's the gray market.
Yeah.
And then there's the black market, which is
where
how you get
So,
everything
is that
else.
essentially how we're doing, where it's basically like you buy from the corporations, or you buy from the black market.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, so I'd say like
corporations or black market.
yeah,
And
maybe
there's
like,
no more like white market or good market anymore. That's dead.
It's
That's a
like,
relic. That's eBay.
scales of bad now. It's just which one is the lesser evil? Do you give your soul up for something that works, or do you pick up something that maybe doesn't work as well, or like
And has
is
But you need
likely
actual
to
money
fucking
for that.
explode on you,
yeah.
but you don't owe anybody anything.
right.
Yeah.
There
Like,
could the book also uses an example for government and stuff like Senate Inc. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like the government turned
Buy
into
your
a
way
company
into the
eventually. Yeah.
You could just
That's
like
kinda
buy
cool.
your way into the government, except, well, I mean, they do that now, but you know, it could be more
Now
obvious.
it's, now it's like open market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah. So, like, are we thinking floating cars? Are we thinking maybe floating cars
Yes.
only for the extremely rich?
yeah.
I would say that one. It like
Yeah, only for
They're
the
there,
extreme.
but they're really rare.
it's
Like,
it
you see one and you're like, oh shit.
What happened?
someone's important. I mean, it's like the same idea of someone rich owning their own helicopter. Like you see it and you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, of course Bill Gates has a helicopter.
Yeah.
But and so you're not like mind blown like I've never seen one of the flying birds before. It's but very much like, oh yeah, that's that guy going to his private, penthouse. Or if it comes down to you, you're like, oh shit, something is going down.
Yeah.
I also think that it was like, if you see that, if you ever see a flying car, number one, it is surrounded by security. There is never one flying alone. It is always with other security. And number two, you do not want to be near it, because if you're near it, that security is just like shoot.
And or like you don't want to get involved because if they're looking for you,
yeah, or
no
even
good.
if you're just in the way, they just mow you down and move on.
Yeah.
The true nature of cyberpunk. How many drugs are there?
So many.
A lot of
So,
drugs.
so
We talking
many.
like
Hard drugs though.
All the drugs.
like
I mean, there would be like
hard drugs.
hard stuff, cybernetic stuff, like
That's what I mean.
like
Yeah.
you got a
adrenaline.
neural implant
like Futurama, where they plug themselves in with like the
the
fucking,
jacking in
the
robots.
jacking
I mean,
in, yeah.
that
That
or
kinda
like
shit, you like hook it up to your cybernetics and it like makes your eyes go zzz.
Yeah.
Or like or do we also want to go with like again Bebop style, like the blood eye stuff, but you get it for like any part of your body?
I think we need to include all of that stuff.
yeah.
yeah, I
So
mean
just
like
make a
it would
fucking
be
list of drugs.
I think
Yeah.
the other
As
thing
I
is
say,
like,
like,
something
right
like
down to skin patches for people who are more meat than machine,
Yeah.
and then you have your plugging in for people who are more machine than meat.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is like, I think it would be an interesting thing that I've seen a couple times. What was that? Was it Minority Report that had this? Where they were in these like pods and it was like
oh yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
was like
Minority Report,
experience
yeah.
kind of stuff where people would get they would essentially
Dream.
be
Yeah, the
they would get
VR, yeah.
addicted to
So
this fake
that's a
world
really
over.
really interesting
That would be- that
avenue
would be
to
kinda
start
cool.
to take, because that's going to get us into like a whole branch of how we want to do stuff.
Of like the world.
What you're talking about is like augmented reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, come
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
What is real is the big thing, and people are getting addicted to, essentially the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
They're addicted to.
Well, they're also trying to escape their reality too.
Yeah,
That's a
so
really
they would be
important
like
question to
the hikikomori of society, like the Japanese teens that like don't leave their houses at all. So those people that are like stuck in augmented reality would be like this large part of culture now, not just in Japan. It's like taken over the world. There's like a large population of the culture or population of the world that like does not leave.
Kind of
their
reminds me
houses.
of Ready Player One, except
Yeah.
like
there was also a Vimeo short, like someone did on AR like in the future, where someone had their subscription to their headset and it made everything nice and colorful, and it would show ads, and it had like, you know, they walking through the grocery store and it's super nice, and the subscription runs out and it gets really like gross and dingy.
Oh yeah.
So the augmented reality stuff is very interesting, and I think we need to talk about what level of augmented reality we want to think about. It's very important because
you mean like if it directly like affects us if you're in the dream, like it affects actual reality rather than just a dream.
So like, does everybody have some kind of an AR setup built into their system, some kind of cybernetic, where they automatically have a fucking AR display?
Okay, so
yeah,
hold on. I like the idea. What if there was like a view
of like a different world as you're walking through, like virtually?
I like the idea of like augmented reality, but it's kind of avoided because there are some people like maybe like 5 years ago or 10 years ago when the big boom happened, they got really into AR. But then the AR started to like bleed into their consciousness. So like while they were walking around in real life and going to their jobs, it would start like glitching in, or kind of like their brain would start short firing or something, and they would start seeing parts of what they'd already seen in AR. And so they would just eventually they'd just be a husk, and they wouldn't like know if anything's real or fake.
Yeah.
Just call them like ghosts or some shit. Like,
ooh.
There's a really
I
good
saw that in a movie once about Ghost in the.
Okay, no. All right.
Well, we can listen.
It's a great idea. I just
Well, no, I mean we can seriously. You can.
It could be like pre like success of it. Like we could be in the times where it's like as rare as the little helicopter scenario.
You can look at the people in AR that are completely addicted to it. You can look at it like people look at, say, like the South Park episode about WoW players. You know, it could be that kind of mentality.
True. God, that video.
So what about this?
Kill that which has no life.
Go ahead, Pip.
You know, thinking about how rare it is, there's a really neat Black Mirror episode, and I don't know how good Black Mirror does over in the US, but there's an episode where they feed AR into the brains of soldiers.
Yes.
To stop them from seeing the horrors of what they're actually doing. So killing people, pulling refugees out of places, like they don't see that, they see them as monsters. And what they're actually setting them up to do is when they have to go back and live in these desolate areas because everybody else is gone and they're now a shadow of their former selves, they are seeing sunshine and rainbows. They're seeing, you know, their wives and stuff go back.
Yeah.
But it's all military funded. And it's only for those who are so damaged that they can't go back to being regular.
Ooh.
So if you want something,
right.
If you want to include like a rarity in that, maybe look at the people who are, and I mean, this is no comment on anything, I'm just taking from a Black Mirror episode, but take the people who are shadows of their former selves and give them something to maybe stop them from being so apathetic and potentially dangerous.
Yeah, because if you don't care, then they're just going to go off the deep end.
That would have to be, you know, almost
basically like junkies. They're basically AR junkies.
So I have a video for you guys, and I'll post this in the Discord. I can post it in chat if you want me to, but it is a video it's a short called The Uncanny Valley, and it is about exactly what you're talking about. It's a beautiful film.
Like that. Have you seen the?
Put it there, and then basically, but yeah, there are junkies, and it kind of works in a reverse order to what you're talking about, Pip, where people are addicted to AR, and they are doing these like gun games or whatever, and then it switches focus to where like what these guys are doing they're actually embodying and making decisions for robots in a field, in a military operation somewhere where they can't see it because the world to them looks like a video game, but in reality the enemies that they're shooting are, you know, insurgents and terrorists and all that stuff that some government is using their decision making to just do, right? And the junkies fuel the war without knowing it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys should take a look at it. It's right there. But But yeah, just
Okay.
I guess something to think about.
Going off of videos, then I don't know if you guys have seen a really cool Vimeo short where this kind of inspires the idea of population, where it's illegal to have sex in this Vimeo short, and because there's like everybody's contracted this virus. So if you have sex, the second you both have intercourse, both people die, and there's like drugs made to block it, and the government is like tracking you. If you have sex by these wristbands. So like when somebody's having sex, the government like the police burst in, and they basically lock everybody down and find the two people that are having sex, but everybody dies the second they have sex. So like that you mentioning that got me thinking, like, what's the population like on this planet, like on Earth here? Is it like, yeah, it's a really good short. I don't know if I can find it, but I'll link it to you if I find it.
I mean, it could be kind of the population like the really isolated giant cities, but there's just wasteland in between. So there's trade between the corporations, but it's heavily regulated.
So like, where are we in terms of
Have you
wars?
taken your joy today?
Oh.
Yeah, right.
I played that the other day, actually.
I mean, like, something important to realize is like everything has got to be marketed. Every single thing that you see is just
It could be kind of pharmaceutical.
disgusting
Yeah,
levels of
yeah.
marketing. Like
Do I
stupid.
hear pharmaceutical megacorps? Is that it?
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
a definite possibility. I mean, something to keep in mind.
I think with the population, the idea of, I don't know, because like I get what you're saying, Jay, as far as like population. Okay, so was that disease like, was it a disease that was just, it happened?
Yeah, it just happened. It wasn't like, it wasn't
was-
manufactured. It just happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when the government busted in, they were there to stop the sex, to save the.
Yeah, they're
who died.
basically, yeah. So
Interesting.
like on that, I mean, maybe going into I can't remember the name of the movie, but like maybe there's like a calamitous event happening eventually in the future. Like if we're going with tech, maybe the end of humanity would be something like a massive solar flare, like, you know, something that's actually destined to happen in 4 million or billion years. But like this is a much shorter timeline. So like in 1,000 years, maybe there's going to be, or in 100 or 200 years, there's going to be this massive solar flare that just fucks the world up and everyone dies. So like
we know about that.
I mean, we know that's going to happen to us in like 4 million or 4 billion years. Yeah. But
Well,
like,
so I mean, say like the characters in the universe.
yeah.
Like,
So in this universe, everybody knows. So like maybe this has spawned, I was thinking about this earlier. Maybe this has spawned both like radicals that start like praising the sun, no pun intended there, from the Dark Souls universe.
Praise the sun.
But and also there's like radical groups that also are like anti-tech, like super anti-tech. That no
I think
modifications.
no matter
I think
what you
that's
guys
like
decide.
that's a necessity,
Yeah,
right?
that's a necessity.
Yeah.
No matter what you guys decide.
But also, like, if there were religion in this world, maybe it would be surrounding this calamity to come of the solar flare. Like they just call
I mean,
it, like,
it could
the
be
flare
the
or
reason
something.
why it could be the reason why you need to get in technology quicker. Like
Yeah.
that could be why they outsource so quickly.
Could also explain the apathy of everybody, right?
Yeah.
We're all gonna die in 200 years or some shit, so it doesn't matter.
And the tech race is to kind of either protect the
Or-
upper class from
Yeah.
dying off.
Well, and they market it as we're going to progress technology so that we can save humanity. When in reality, everyone fucking knows.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah, yeah.
They're seeing it.
Do we want to do an Elysium kind of scenario here?
Oh,
Where-
Oh god, I can't remember Elysium.
oh.
Where, well, basically what you had with Elysium was the Earth was the slum, and then
There was another
colony was the fucking like
Yeah.
Halo.
I like
the,
that.
the rich.
Ooh, I like that, but that would kind of ruin the whole like capitalist thing. Like then everyone would just be poor, broke,
Why?
and
No. But
But you
it's,
could do
it's-
missions to the fucking, you know, who's to say it's out? It doesn't necessarily have to be outlawed. It could just be fucking.
I mean, that
expensive
could
to
be
get there.
that could be why, like, if you were on Earth and you would see a floating car or something, you'd be like, "Oh, shit,
Whoa,
they're
yeah.
from."
Okay, so I like that. Yeah, maybe like in this timeline, maybe just like we've colonized Mars or something, and that's where the rich people are.
How about this?
It doesn't even have to be that far
But, like-
out, does it?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
or like,
What about okay, you guys familiar with the concept of a space elevator?
yeah, that's what I was about
Yeah,
to say.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just literally the gravitational swing of the Earth is keeping this, whatever it is, so far out of the Earth that as it spins, it's taut and it's this huge elevator that goes for miles and miles and miles, and it is in a an orbit around the Earth connected to it. And there is this, so that makes this really, really, really intense point of interest in the entire planet is the space elevator.
Or like calling it like the tower or something. So there are people living in it, and it's like the middle class that's left.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the top is the rich, the corporations.
That could be fun because you could race through it.
Each corporation has its own tower.
Ooh. I kind of like that.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I feel like if we do that, if we do the sort of separate colony thing, then we have to have frequent travel between it.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Or like maybe so
Is that too sci-fi?
you
I
said
think
like
that's fine.
I feel like we're bridging. I mean, can we?
We're kind of going super sci-fi with it.
Fuck
It's
it.
but it's
Up
at the
to you
same
guys.
time though, like super sci-fi is like again like going back to like like a unified consciousness where it's like the sci-fi to sci-fi kind of a thing where it's like it's not about our technology and pushing it to the nth degree. It's about taking ideas that we don't even conceive as possible and then like that's super sci-fi. What we're talking about here is like because people have been talking about a possibility of a space elevator now.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the legitimacy of it, and that's fine. I don't
So-
mean to. Like, it's something
It's not
people-
far fetched.
Okay.
I feel like if we do the thing where civilization is probably going to die soon, a priority for people is to get out into space. So having space elevators, a secondary colony, is something that makes sense.
Question.
Right.
It's a priority.
Yeah.
Is it possible in this universe to build a shell around the Earth?
A Dyson sphere.
Basically. So and then there's multiple space elevators.
So
And they're
Dyson
called,
spheres in like sci-fi and like space opera stuff are usually built around a sun.
Done, right.
Because they need that much.
But they're
power.
doing it around Earth to
Preserve.
protect it.
But the thing is, though, think about it this way, though. If the sun explodes, or if the sun, it'd be
a massive flare,
not
right?
explode.
So like
It's
think
just
of a
a flare,
massive
it's
whip
not a-
cracking. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a whip cracking, and it would just fucking cut through.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like Dyson sphere-esque thing, just a shell around it. There's a colony on the shell or like underneath the shell. So when you look up, there's a city, right? And it'd be obvious. We'd have to fucking figure out some kind of inverted gravity thing. But then like towers, they're just called highways, and you have to go along the highways to get up to the shell.
I like that you would call it a highway because that would make
yeah,
it more
and-
like a.
In
So
terms
like
of like technology, that is
that
so
too far out of it?
It's really
Is it too
out of
far?
our reach.
Is it like right?
It's-
Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, going back to
the idea of technology seems more like you have a couple corporations that can move some people to do some bigger things, but the scale of the technology and the crazy things that we can do are muted because it's so chaotic and it's more of just a mash of little technological things. And the scale of like it requires massive unification of ideals to pull off something of that scale. So that's why like even a space elevator might be kind of a
What if that was something that was like in the works?
yeah, like
in
I was just gonna say like we're working
like
towards
something
it.
that-
Yeah. So
that is
maybe
the goal for the future.
so kind of like sticking with the theme, maybe these towers are they lead up to were we all in agreement there's like a colony up at the top of them,
Or
right?
the corporation's headquarters.
I like the idea of like maybe it's the headquarters and it's like each singular like corporation's headquarters and they're working to eventually maybe build that shell like 100-ish years in the future before that happens. But for
Or
now
the
they've started to make colonies up there and those are where the rich people live.
Yeah,
Or the
yeah.
colonies are designed to when it gets closer, maybe they're telling people about a shell.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, but like maybe when it
Maybe
gets
it's not made yet, but that's
Yeah, definitely.
that's the goal for the rich, and people are trying to get to be rich so they can be a part of
yeah,
that.
like from the chat we're
But
working
now everyone
on it.
is
We're
still
working on it.
everyone's still like kind of combined in one space. So people are kind of crashing with each other, and you're still on the ground.
Actually,
I like
that's a good point, though, as far
Trying
as
to get a
like
good
the
spot.
ideology of people at that time. If it's apathetic, if people don't give a shit, and these corporations are just giant megalithic or giant monstrous like assholes who don't care about people, why would they ever build the Dyson sphere? Why would they not figure out a way to leave or because like they don't.
So the fail safe would just be cutting off the elevator and floating off. right?
And not,
That'd be
Essentially.
the failsafe.
and also
Maybe that's the
You
plan
want
all
to get on
along.
their priority is also to make even more money. So
Yeah.
there's probably a space race for these mega
Buy your
corporations.
slot.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
get to space so that they can be the first people that colonize, fucking
Yeah.
one of the moons of fucking Jupiter. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So that's why, that's why I think it'd be a great place for us to start in like the slums with the rich and just have like that tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely like the idea of it being in the periphery. Like it's there.
Yep.
People are thinking about it. And there's definitely like a whole lot of shady stuff going on to get there. And, that's probably a priority for a lot of people. Okay. So the things that we're definitely thinking about, people seem to all like the idea of like humanity can see its end.
Yeah.
They can see it. And it's, it is approaching. And I will just say the end is nigh. And I figure like that.
Yeah.
What's that Hearthstone card? The end is coming.
Okay, so we've done a lot of talk about the Cyberpunk stuff. I want to just, and I don't want to do the actual character creation just yet, but I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the playbooks.
Okay.
And just kind of
Do you have the
remind
PDF
everybody-
link for that so we can link it in the chat? Sorry. Just throw it in our Discord there, and I'll throw it in the chat as well.
Yeah. We don't want to throw it in the chat.
No.
I definitely do not want to put that in the chat. You guys.
Oh yeah, that's a
The Google Drive.
that's a
you
paid
guys
thing.
actually
Never
have
mind.
to pay for it.
All
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Can I get a link to the PDF, Dad? Thanks.
I'll throw it in Discord. Why?
Yeah,
Okay,
if
thank you.
you could, that'd be great. So I'm gonna just quickly go over the different playbook options, and then I want you guys to sort of like, if you guys are like, I definitely want to play this, like, then say it, and maybe if people have like a few ideas or whatever, just want to brainstorm a little bit. So the different playbooks in the Sprawl, which are the classes that these guys can play, are the driver, which the little description, the flavor text for that is plugs her car into her brain and roars off in a cloud of fumes and drones. The fixer is somebody that hooks people up with gear, jobs, friends, and trouble. Now, when I was first reading through the playbook, I was trying to imagine like an actual icon from culture that represented the fixer. And some of the ones that I actually spoke to the guy that made the game and asked his opinion, like, in case people were a little confused with these playbooks, like, is there an example? And he gave me a great one for a couple of things, and it sort of sparked my thinking a little bit. And what I thought of a classic example of a fixer from the second Matrix and the third Matrix, the Merovingian, is like spot on the fixer.
The what? I can't remember.
French guy.
Merovingian was the French guy.
Yeah.
The guy that gave everybody info.
Yep.
them up with
The
different
dude
stuff.
with the
Also
weird
made
like
or-
phasing like.
He also made no. Those you're
The
thinking of
peons. The peons,
No.
right? He owned the twins though, didn't he?
Yes.
he owned the
Yeah.
twins.
Okay. Yeah.
He also made the orgasmic cake.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest.
Oh
fucking
yeah. That
monologues in
was such
fucking
a
Matrix.
Also, an example that's totally not cyberpunk, but I think is a great example of a fixer: Raiders of the Lost Ark, Sala. The guy that he hooked Indy up with all the info, gave him like vehicles and weapons and all that shit. That's a fixer. That's the person that like helps you set up the mission and gets you going with stuff. The hacker, pretty self-explanatory, glides through computer networks, taking what the job requires and more. It's very much a character that is probably going to run their own little side mission, or you're bringing them along to help you get into a place or some specific information that they want to steal. The hunter searches the streets for whatever or whoever needs finding. The infiltrator is a master of getting into secure places and doing bad things there. The killer uses bleeding edge technology to commit violence. The killer is a straight up death machine. They are generally more cyberware than human. The pusher. This was kind of a tough one to sort of wrap my head around. But the pusher wants to change the world, one mind at a time. And the example that the creator for the Sprawl gave me was Morpheus from The Matrix is a perfect pusher.
Sorry, one more time. The
pusher is the person that wants to change the world one mind at a time. So Morpheus.
Okay, yeah. So I missed the example. Yeah.
An ideologically focused individual.
Yeah.
I
like that.
Rock stars with a social agenda.
Ooh, yeah.
If you guys want to play a fucking rock star.
Oh man. So like Paradigm. Have you guys played through Paradigm yet?
Not yet.
No. Oh man, you should.
That's a pusher. The reporter, pretty self-explanatory, uncovers the truth and exposes the guilty. The soldier plans and executes missions in the corporate wars. So the soldier is not a fighter per se. The soldier is an example of, say, like Hannibal from the A-Team.
Okay.
It's the leader. It's the person that sort of gets everybody where they need to be. It's like the lieutenant. It's the person that's sort of making sure the mission's running smoothly. Not necessarily the best fighter, but they kind of know what they're doing. They're there to try to make the plan happen. The tech is the master of gear, building it, fixing it, and breaking it. So, is anybody like, I need to play this? Any specific classes? Pip?
So, I'd love to play killer because it's completely out of what I normally play. And I think my very English accent very much speaks to that.
Ooh, the femme fatale.
Yes.
But I have other plans if other people are like, no, I want to kill stuff. Like that's fine. But like that's not quite what I do. So that'd be really neat.
Yeah, I think I would love to play the hunter. Just be a really stupid fucking bounty hunter.
Okay.
I wanted to my hope was actually to play the reporter.
Wow. Okay.
I pinned you as immediately pinned you as soldier with that little get up and that serious look.
Nope. I want to play a reporter. I think I could also probably play a pusher really well.
Ultimately, no matter what, I want you guys to pick a class, to pick a playbook that you are really interested in and that you think you're going to have fun with.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm going to have fun with either of these.
Okay.
Yep.
Goobers is going to be a pusher and just be a streamer.
I was actually thinking of which one was it? A fixer.
Oh, okay.
Nice. That'd be awesome.
She's sort of like a Southern kind of gal. So she kind of has the old school mentality of fixing stuff, but she also has steampunk things too. I think that'd be kind of funny.
You mean Cyberpunk?
Yeah. So that
fourth time this session.
Yeah, counter, guys. We need a counter.
It's got the word punk in it. Yeah, can we get a steampunk counter in the?
Can I get the Mac punk, please?
Is it steampunk? Question mark. +1.
Steampunk sci-fi.
I was actually thinking Fixer though. So
okay,
that'd be awesome.
So just an FYI, you guys are right now leaning towards a group that is you have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So Dan, what are you kind of leaning towards?
I was trying to decide between either the pusher or tech.
I feel like you could do either.
Yeah.
You make a really good tech.
The tech I was thinking just because it's kind of like the down and dirty, you are fixing a physical object, your arm broke, hold on, come here, I'm gonna make your joint work again, because
Cyberpunk cleric.
You can play a tech that specializes in, first aid kind of thing.
Right, something like that, or the pusher being one of the, like, if things are dying to the flare in a couple of years, like being a flarer or whatever you would call it, like a flamer.
Okay, it's 2017. Sorry, it's 2043. Let's come on, honestly.
But some
that would be amazing.
Whatever you would call them,
a
complete apostle to that faith.
Right.
But on the side of we need to fix it because we're on the road to destruction.
Oof.
And I'll fix it any means necessary. Kill that guy because they're a corporate head and they're pushing our world toward death. Fine, kill them. So I was trying to juggle between those two.
No, you wouldn't be able to sell it though. No, that's
think also about where you guys are going to stand in the mission. Typically, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea where you're currently at on the mission chart. The fixer usually does most of their work before the mission begins.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a lot of work to sort of make contacts, maybe spend cred to get some gear and intel and stuff like that. If you play a killer, your main part,
I'm a hustler.
yeah, like if you play a killer, your main thing is you're going to be on the main mission most of the time, right? And your preference is going to be for loud. Like you want to fuck some stuff up. That's your place. If you play a tech is probably going to be on the main mission, and maybe afterwards. I think that's kind of where you're kind of leaning. The reporter is a really sort of weird one. I feel like that's a sort of versatile spot. You might need to be on the mission to sort of get the video that you need.
The thing that I was thinking about is that the angle that he could play is distraction. The best part about a reporter is that what's going to bring attention to a scene that other people might not want, which would bring negative attention to like a corporation or a group of people, and also attention of the security guards or whoever else that we're dealing with away from what we're talking about. And at the same time, I can be there for the story.
Right. And Jay, you were thinking about playing a hunter.
Yeah.
So the hunter is
boom.
Yeah.
The hunter.
Your hunter is also going to probably be like, I feel like early, or depending on what mission you guys take, or what mission you guys get, you're going to be maybe on the mission. So it's sort of probably like early or on the actual mission. So just so you're aware, in this game, it's definitely okay to split the party. You all have specialties. You probably don't necessarily want to have a situation where you send everybody on the actual mission proper, because you're going to have people that are very bad at fighting.
Zoom froze on me. I don't know what the fuck is...
Oh, okay, that was you?
Yeah.
I was like, Zoom was just like, everything died.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, I'm not touching it.
I'm not touching it either. When we get to the break, I'll see if I can fix it.
It looks like everything's still seeable. It's just dead.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, I was just like,
no, don't worry. I'm sitting here like everything's on fire.
Okay, so I just wanted to sort of touch base with everybody on that, because that might affect some of the stuff that we're setting up for the setting and some of the ideas we have for the megacorps. But I think it's a good time to take a break so we can fix Zoom and about that time.
Good break time.
We're taking a real quick break, guys. Guys and gals, non-binary pals, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here for session 0 so far for the first hour. We'll be back in 3 to 5. Get up, grab a drink and all that. Go check out the Sprawl book in the chat. I posted it there if you guys want to buy it on Drive-Thru RPG.